The year is January 28, 2022. Dušan Vlahović is unveiled as a Juventus player on his 22nd birthday, and Italian football collectively loses its mind. This wasn't just some regular signing. Juventus dropped an absolutely insane 83.5 million euros on this guy, 70 million euros up front, 10 million euros in bonuses, plus a salary that would make your head spin. That's the most expensive winter transfer in Serie A history. Let that sink in. This dude had just equaled a 70-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo record, 38 league goals in a season and a half at Fiorentina. Nobody else in the league was even close. Arsenal wanted him. Tottenham wanted him. But he chose Juventus and took the number 7 shirt because of course he did. Juventus needed this. Post-Ronaldo, they were desperate for someone to build around. Vlahović was supposed to be their Serbian prince, their next decade of dominance wrapped up in one physically imposing striker. And then, everything went to shit. Fast forward to now, and this perfect match has become a complete disaster. The goal-hungry predator joining the winning machine? Yeah, about that. His consistency vanished. His role as the focal point? Constantly questioned. That massive transfer fee? It's like an anchor around the club's neck. So what the hell happened? This isn't just player bad now. Vlahović at Juventus is like watching 5 different catastrophes happen simultaneously, and somehow they're all connected. First, there's the tactical nightmare. Allegri's system and Vlahovic's natural game go together like oil and water. Then Juventus as an institution basically imploded. The whole club fell apart around him. But wait, it gets worse. The injuries started piling up. No rhythm, no confidence, just pain. Then came the managerial carousel. New coach, new tactics, rinse and repeat, until nobody knows what they're doing anymore. And now, they're stuck with this financial black hole of a contract that nobody wants to touch. Understanding what happened to Vlahović means understanding the absolute chaos he's been swimming in for years. This isn't a decline. It's a case study in how even world-class talent can get completely derailed when everything around them is on fire. So here's the thing about Vlahović at Fiorentina. This dude went from nobody to nightmare mode faster than you can say transfer rumors. 2020-21 was when everything changed. 21 goals in 37 league games. That's not just good, that's holy shit. Who is this guy good? They gave him the Serie A Best Young Player award because what else were they gonna do? Ignore the Serbian tank bulldozing through defenses every week? But wait, it gets crazier. The first half of 2021-22, this man was on demon time. 17 goals in 21 games. That's basically a goal per game. 3 assists on top of that, because apparently scoring wasn't enough. Over his last year and a half at Fiorentina, we're talking 41 goals in 65 games across all competitions. And get this, 33 league goals in 2021. That matched Cristiano fucking Ronaldo's record from 2020. Let that marinate for a second. Here's what people didn't understand though. Vlahović wasn't just good, he was perfectly designed for Fiorentina's system. Under coaches like Prandelli and Italiano, they played actual attacking football. Revolutionary concept, I know. At one point, 90 meters tall with a left foot that could probably kick through walls, Vlahović was built different, and Fiorentina knew it. Their entire game plan? Get the ball to the big Serbian guy. Cross it high, play it direct, let him do his thing. He wasn't just part of the attack, he was the attack. Everyone looked at these numbers and thought, oh cool, a system-proof striker we can plug into any team. Yeah, about that. Turns out even elite players need the right environment to thrive. Who would have thought? The exact conditions that made him a god at Fiorentina, being the guy in a system built around him, those were actually pretty important. But Juventus saw the goals and thought, surely this will translate perfectly to our completely different setup. Spoiler alert, it didn't. This Fiorentina version of Vlahović? That's the ghost haunting every single game he plays at Juventus. That's the standard everyone's measuring him against. And that's exactly why this whole situation is such a mess. When Vlahović went from Fiorentina to Juventus, it was like going from playing Call of Duty to playing a farming simulator. Completely different game. At Fiorentina, he was the main character. At Juventus under Allegri, he became an NPC in his own career. Let's talk numbers because holy shit are they depressing. 2021-22 after joining Juventus, 7 goals in 15 games. Not terrible, but remember this guy had 17 in 21 for Fiorentina just before that. That's like going from driving a Ferrari to a Honda Civic. 2022 to 2023, the absolute worst. 10 goals in 27 games. This is the same player who was breaking Ronaldo records a year earlier. What the hell happened? 2023 to 2024? Okay, slight comeback. 16 goals in 33 games, even one best striker. But here's the thing, his goals per game was still way worse than at Fiorentina. We're talking 0.48 versus 0.57. That's not a recovery, that's life support. The really brutal stat. At Fiorentina, he scored every 127 minutes. At Juventus, every 200 minutes. His big chance conversion rate dropped from 65% to 50%. This man went from clinical to whatever the opposite of clinical is. Now let me explain Allegri-ball, because understanding this is like understanding why your girlfriend is mad at you. It explains everything. Allegri's philosophy is basically don't concede goals, and maybe we'll figure out the scoring part later. His teams sit back in these compact defensive blocks, 5-3-2 or 4-4-2, just clogging up the middle like a bad drain. And yeah, it worked defensively, second best defense in Serie. Great, cool. But what about, scoring? Here's where it gets weird. Allegri believes in something called relationism. Sounds fancy, right? It basically means, I don't know, you guys figure it out on the field. No patterns, no structured attacks. Just vibes and individual brilliance. It's like playing pickup basketball when everyone else is running actual plays. So what was Vlahović supposed to do in this mess? He became a tabella, which is a fancy way of saying human pinball machine. His job? Get smashed by defenders, hold up long balls, and pray someone else does something useful. Watch any match against Inter or Freiburg and you'll see him getting absolutely bodied while trying to lay balls off for Di Maria or Rabiot. The dude went from being fed chances like a king to scrapping for scraps like Oliver Twist. 1 versus 3 battles with zero support became his daily reality. At Fiorentina, he was the endpoint of every attack. At Juventus, he was lucky if he touched the ball in the box. People started asking the obvious question, is Allegri ruining this kid? Some pundits straight up said Allegri can't develop young attacking players. No shit, Sherlock. Here's the absolutely insane part. Juventus dropped over 80 million euros on a pure goal scorer and then handed him to a manager who treats attacking football like it's a war crime. That's like buying a Lamborghini and only driving it in school zones. This wasn't just a tactical mismatch. This was organizational malpractice. Vlahović wasn't failing the system. The system was designed to make him fail. So while Vlahović was already struggling with Allegri-ball, Juventus decided to speedrun their own destruction. The 2022-23 season wasn't just bad. It was Netflix documentary in 10 years bad. November 2022, the entire board of directors just quit. All of them, including Andrea Agnelli, who'd been there forever. Imagine showing up to work and your entire management team has vanished like they're in the rapture. Why? Oh, just some light financial crimes. The Plus Valenza scandal. Basically, they were cooking the books harder than Walter White cooking meth. But wait, it gets so much worse. January 2023, Italian Football Federation drops a nuclear bomb. 15-point deduction. 15. Juventus went from Champions League spots to maybe we'll make Europa League if we're lucky. April 2023. They appeal and actually get the points back for like 5 minutes, because in May, they got hit with a 10-point deduction instead. It's like getting unfired just to get fired again, but slightly less hard. They dropped from top 4 to 7th place. No Champions League money, no Champions League anything. Summer 2023, UEFA shows up like, hey, remember us? And bans them from all European competitions for the next season. Not even Conference League. Nothing. Nada. You're playing Sassuolo on Thursday nights and you're gonna like it. And somehow the player scandals were even crazier. Paul Pogba, remember him? Came back in 2022 like the prodigal son. Got caught up in an extortion case. Then failed a drug test and got banned for 4 years. This man collected more L's than wins. Nicolo Fagioli, their young midfielder everyone was hyped about, banned for illegal betting. Because apparently when your club is imploding, the smart move is to bet on football matches. This is Juventus we're talking about. Their whole thing was winning is the only thing that matters. That was literally their motto. Now they're out here like, surviving another week without a new scandal is the only thing that matters. Imagine being Vlahović watching this circus. You sign for 80 million euros thinking you're joining Real Madrid light, and instead you get keeping up with the criminals. The pressure went from score goals and win trophies to score goals while the building is literally on fire around you. How the hell are you supposed to focus on football when every week there's a new episode of Juventus Criminal Minds? Your confidence is already shot from the tactical mess, and now you're playing for a club that might not exist next season. This wasn't just context for his bad season. This was a masterclass in how to destroy a footballer's mental state. And people wondered why his numbers tanked. And if tactical nightmares and criminal investigations weren't enough, Vlahovic's body decided to join the "let's ruin this man's career" party. This dude has been more injured than healthy since joining Juventus. We're not talking minor knocks here. His groin has basically been holding a permanent protest against playing football. The main villain? Pubalgia. That's fancy medical speak for your groin hurts all the time and good luck fixing it. Add in some adductor problems and thigh issues, and you've got the injury hat trick nobody wants. 2022-23 was absolutely brutal. Remember, this is when Juventus was imploding with scandals and point deductions. Vlahovic's body apparently thought, you know what would make this worse? If I also fell apart. The damage report from that season is insane. 112 days out. 14 games missed? 5 different injuries. 52 days with pubalgia alone. 23 days with adductor pain. That's not a medical record, that's a horror story. 2023-24? Still broken. Back problems, muscle issues, the hits kept coming. 2024-25? 8 more games missed already. Muscle injury, muscle fatigue, and something called a stress reaction of the bone, which sounds like his skeleton is literally giving up. Against Parma, he couldn't even make it past halftime before his thigh said, nope, we're done here. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Stress breaks bodies. When you're carrying an 80 million euro price tag, playing in a system that hates you, and your club is being investigated by everyone with a badge, that pressure doesn't just stay in your head. It goes straight to your muscles, your tendons, your everything. It's like a doom loop. Pressure makes you tense. Tension causes injuries. Injuries mean you can't play well. Playing badly creates more pressure. Rinse and repeat until your career is circling the drain. This man wasn't just fighting defenders, he was fighting his own body. And when your body is rebelling while your club is on fire and your tactics are garbage, good fucking luck scoring goals. The crazy part is people looked at his stats and went, why isn't he scoring? My brother in Christ, he spent more time in the medical room than on the training ground. Hard to be Ronaldo when you're built like Mr. Glass from Unbreakable. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse for Vlahović, Juventus decided to play musical chairs with their managers. 3 different coaches in 12 months. 12 months. That's not a football club, that's a temp agency. After they finally got rid of Allegri, in comes Thiago Motta, the guy who made Bologna look competent. Motta shows up talking about possession-based football and modern tactics. Cool story, bro. But there's one problem. He hates strikers like Vlahović. See? Motta wanted his own Joshua Zirkzee, some nimble technical forward who drops deep and does interpretive dance with the ball. Vlahović? He's built like a brick shithouse who wants to score goals, not participate in your tactical ballet. So what does Motta do? He benches the 80 million euro man for Randal Colomwani, who they panic bought in January. Let that sink in. Your record signing is riding the bench for a dude nobody wanted 6 months ago. Alessandro Del Piero, Juventus legend, straight up said Vlahović was in the shadows and his value had tanked. Paolo Di Canio tried to defend him, basically saying, how's he supposed to score from the bench? But the damage was done. Under Motta, Vlahović went from underused to completely useless. Then Motta gets fired because, shocking nobody, his system wasn't working. March 2025, enter Igor Tudor, and this is where it gets weird. Tudor is the complete opposite of everyone before him. This madman loves direct football, high intensity, just boot it up the field and see what happens. He rocks up with his 3-4-2-1 or 3-5-2, and suddenly Vlahović matters again. Why? Because Tudor actually wants a striker who can win headers and hold up the ball. Revolutionary concept at Juventus, apparently. He called Vlahović an offensive anchor, which sounds like something from Pirates of the Caribbean, but basically means big guy who the ball sticks to. Tudor even said publicly that Vlahović has all the skills a top-class player needs. After months of being treated like damaged goods, someone actually wanted him. The redemption arc was on. But here's the insane part. This whole roller coaster happened in 1 year. Vlahović went from Allegri, you're isolated but still playing. Motta, you're benched for vibes. Tudor, you're literally our entire attack. That's not player development. That's psychological torture. How are you supposed to perform when every 4 months someone completely changes your job description? It's like being a chef, then a waiter, then suddenly you're parking cars all at the same restaurant. This is what happens when a club has absolutely no idea what it wants to be. Vlahović became a human barometer for Juventus's identity crisis. Whatever went wrong with the club showed up in his performances first. So what actually happened to Dušan Vlahović? This isn't your typical expensive player bad story. This is what happens when literally everything that can go wrong does go wrong at the exact same time. Let's recap this disaster. Signed by a club that immediately forgot how to use strikers. The club then imploded into a criminal investigation. His body fell apart like he was made of paper. 3 different managers in 1 year playing FIFA with his career. And somehow, this dude still won Serie A's best striker in 2023-24. That's like winning Employee of the Month while your company is on fire and you're working with 2 broken arms. But here's where it gets truly fucked. Vlahović is the highest paid player in Serie A, 12 million euros per year. That's buy a small island money. And Juventus, who are now broke after all their scandals, are looking at this contract like it's radioactive waste. His deal runs until 2026 and Juventus want him gone yesterday. They've tried everything. Hey Dušan, how about we extend your contract but pay you less? His response? Basically a polite version of get fucked. Now they're trying to sell him for 30 million euros. 30. They paid 83.5 million euros. That's like buying a Ferrari and selling it for the price of a used Honda. His market value has crashed harder than crypto in 2022, from 83.5 million euros to maybe 40 million euros if they're lucky. The transfer market interest? Dead. Top clubs took one look at his wages and said, nah, we're good. The only concrete offer came from Fenerbahce, which for a guy who thinks he belongs in the Premier League is like being offered a job at McDonald's when you're expecting Goldman Sachs. This is the modern football trap in action. Club panics, overpays for a player, gives him insane wages. Player struggles because of insert 47 different reasons here. Now he's too expensive to keep, but nobody else is dumb enough to pay him that much. It's financial purgatory. The contract that was supposed to be his golden ticket became his prison. He can't leave because nobody will match his salary. Juventus can't sell because nobody wants to pay 12 million euros a year for a striker who might be good if the stars aligned perfectly. What happened to Vlahović? He was the wrong player at the wrong club at the wrongest possible time in football history. He showed up to be a goal-scoring machine just as Juventus decided scoring goals was optional. He joined for stability right before the club turned into a crime scene. The saddest part? There's still a world-class striker in there somewhere. We saw glimpses, but unless Juventus suddenly discovers financial sanity or some oil club gets drunk and needs a striker, he's stuck in this nightmare. 2022. Welcome to Juventus. Here's 80 million euros and the number 7 shirt. 2025. Please anyone, take him for 30 million euros. We'll throw in a free Juventus mug. That's not a career arc. That's a financial suicide pact.